They paved my $80,000 private driveway while I was out of state, then sent me a bill and told me to say thank you. Yellow speed bumps, fresh black asphalt, HOA property signs like they'd just annexed Normandy. And there she was, standing at the end of my road with a clipboard and a smile that said she thought she'd already won. I'm Garrett Sullivan, 52, retired Army combat engineer, the kind of guy who reads property deeds for fun and keeps 37 years of documentation in a fireproof safe. I live on 3 acres outside what's now called Willowbrook Estates, Colorado. It didn't used to have a fancy name. It was pasture and pine trees, and my grandfather's land long before some developer carved it into 60 matching boxes and sold it to people who think grass should be measured with a ruler. The crown jewel of my property is a 400-foot private access road connecting my land to County Highway 34. Grandpa built it in 1987 with 80 grand and military precision, engineered to handle 60-ton loads, properly surveyed, fully permitted, recorded with Adams County in granite solid legal language. The man hauled tanks across Europe. He didn't cut corners. For decades, that road was gravel and quiet dignity. Then in 2019, progress arrived wearing loafers and HOA bylaws thicker than a church directory. Enter Vivian Ashworth. 58, relocated from Phoenix, campaigned herself into HOA president on promises of community enhancement and elevated standards. Translation: she liked telling grown adults what to do. She started small. Complaints about my contractor truck. Violation notices about imaginary oil leaks. Letters about aesthetic inconsistencies. I wasn't even in the HOA, legally excluded, but that didn't stop her from trying. She suggested I join. Only $3,200 a year for the privilege of asking permission to paint my own mailbox. I showed her my 1987 survey excluding my land from all development covenants. She gave me that smile the one teachers give before assigning detention and said, "Times change, Mr. Sullivan." Yeah, they do. I left for a week-long job in Wyoming. Came home Tuesday evening tired and hungry, expecting gravel crunch under my tires. Instead, my truck rolled smooth over fresh asphalt, white center lines, yellow speed bumps, 3 shiny signs, private property, HOA members only. My road, my grandfather's road. Vivian's white Escalade blocked my driveway like she was planting a flag. She tapped an invoice against her clipboard. "Congratulations," she said, sweet as antifreeze. "We improved your dirt path. Your contribution is $12,400. The smell of hot tar hit like betrayal. 37 years of ownership erased in 7 days. "This is my private road," I said. She smiled wider. "We're claiming shared infrastructure authority, possibly adverse possession. Adverse possession requires open, notorious, exclusive occupation for 15 to 20 years. You don't steal a road because neighbors drove across it." She hadn't done her homework. That night, I pulled every document, surveys, easement records, tax receipts, maintenance logs. And I found something ugly. When the HOA originally formed, Vivian's boundary map had quietly included my road. The county never corrected it. Paper theft before asphalt theft. Around midnight, Janet Mills, neighborhood property appraiser, messaged me. "Garrett, she asked me last month how paving your road would increase HOA property values." Premeditated. Next morning, they booted my truck. Claimed I was parked illegally on HOA property. Deputy Martinez removed it in 5 minutes flat and politely informed Vivian she couldn't boot vehicles on property she didn't own. That should have ended it. Instead, she escalated. Emergency board meeting in her living room. Porcelain cats staring down like silent jurors. I arrived with Patricia Finley, property rights attorney, sharp as barbed wire. When Patricia laid out my documents and used the words theft and fraud, 3 board members visibly aged 5 years. Turns out Vivian told them I'd agreed to pay. She'd lied to her own board. One by one, members resigned that night. Then came vandalism. Mailbox posts cut clean through. Rock salt dumped across fresh asphalt at 2 a.m. caught on camera by my security system. Her nephew, Marcus, community college legal scholar, stumbling around like a raccoon with a flashlight. County inspectors showed up next, responding to anonymous complaints. Found nothing. Then my insurance agent called. Vivian had 3 prior fraud attempts in Phoenix. Career scam artist with a clipboard. That's when the story shifted. Because this stopped being neighbor drama and started being a pattern. Here's the twist she never saw coming. My old Army buddy Jackson Torres works for the state DOT. He reviewed everything and found deliberate boundary manipulation in the HOA formation documents. The HOA wasn't even properly chartered. They weren't just wrong. They were fictional. Patricia uncovered financial records. Vivian had charged $80,000 in emergency assessments without proper approval, pocketed administrative fees. $212,000 over 3 years in unauthorized collections. This wasn't an HOA. It was a racket. Then Jackson reminded me of something beautiful under Colorado law. Private road owners have termination authority over access with 72 hours notice. Absolute. No exceptions. So I served notices to 58 households simultaneously. 72 hours later, any vehicle parked on my road would be trespassing. Word leaked. Panic spread like wildfire. Vivian hired a security company, rented patrol cars, held emergency meetings accusing me of being unstable. She even tried offering me 15 grand to resolve misunderstandings. I handed the check back. Full restitution to every neighbor. Public apology. Resignation, I said. She walked off in heels, clicking like gunfire. Saturday morning, 7 a.m., Rodriguez Brothers towing rolled in 12 trucks, diesel engines rumbling like controlled thunder. First vehicle hooked Vivian's white Escalade. Watching that luxury tank lift into the air while she sprinted out in a pink bathrobe screaming about illegal seizure, that sound of hydraulic lift whining, that was the most honest music I'd heard in years. Police present. Media arrived by 8 a.m. Helicopter overhead broadcasting 58 empty driveways across the state. Neighbors, furious after learning about the fraud, started speaking into cameras. Fines, harassment, illegal assessments. Deputy Martinez confirmed I owned the road. The HOA lacked legal standing. Marcus waved downloaded civil forms like magic spells. Patricia laughed. By 9 a.m., 58 vehicles were impounded. It wasn't revenge, it was consequence. And here's the part that stays with me. When the last tow truck rolled away, the neighborhood went quiet. Not angry quiet, relieved quiet. Like everyone finally exhaled after 3 years of holding their breath. Vivian's Escalade sat in impound for 6 days. Felony insurance fraud charges filed. Mandatory minimum on the table because of prior history. Full restitution ordered. She resigned, moved back to Arizona citing family health concerns. Funny how accountability travels faster than U-Hauls. 6 months later, Willowbrook Estates operates without tyranny. Kids ride bikes again. Bird feeders are back. Property values rebounded higher than before she took over. I started a small property rights scholarship with leftover donations after the story went national. Because here's the lesson I learned, and it took me a while to admit it. Bullies don't win because they're powerful. They win because decent people don't want the hassle. Vivian confused loud with right, authority with ownership, titles with truth. She thought nobody would fight paperwork with paperwork. What she forgot is some of us were trained to build things that last and to defend them properly. That 72-hour notice wasn't anger. It was discipline. It was knowing the law better than the person misusing it. It was understanding that property rights aren't suggestions, they're foundations. And foundations matter. When I walk that road now, the one Grandpa built, I don't think about tow trucks. I think about how easy it is for small power to turn into quiet corruption. How many neighborhoods right now are being run by someone banking on people staying polite? So here's my question for you. If someone stole what your family built and smiled while doing it, would you fight back? Or would you let it slide to keep the peace? Drop your state in the comments and tell me. Have you ever dealt with HOA overreach? Did you push back or did you move on? Because sometimes the quiet neighbor with a stack of documents and an engineering degree isn't the problem. Sometimes he's the lesson.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.